Palmer. It's a new movie to Apple Plus. Yes, we have one more subscription service we have to join by Caramba. And it's directed by Fisher Stevens. It stars Justin Timberlake as Eddie Palmer, a former high school star that is returning to his hometown after 12 years away in prison. And he's really just trying to establish a life for himself, but more importantly, as we find out as the movie goes on, he's really trying to find purpose in life. In doing so, he develops a friendship with a boy that lives on his grandmother's property named Sam, who's about 8 years old and is considered quite different within the community. Sam's mother, is also an addict and often abandons him, and in doing so, it leads to Palmer and Sam having quite a close relationship, and both of them realizing that through each other, they can be accepted, find joy, and have purpose within this community that they live in. Now, there's a few things I loved about the people involved in this movie before I'd even seen it. The first thing was that Fisher Stevens is actually the main actor from the movie Short Circuit. I have not seen this guy in a movie forever. I remember him in some things, but so cool to see him as a director now, and this is basically his first big clip. If you haven't seen Short Circuit, you were probably born after 1990. The other thing I like is obviously Justin Timberlake's transition to a lead role. He is not only an actor in this movie, he's actually the main actor. And then the third thing, if you're into the more gossipy side of things, is the alleged affair that Justin Timberlake had with Jessica Biel is with this co-star in this movie, Alisha Wainwright. I remember reading about this news. I had no idea until I did a little bit of research before watching this film yesterday that was the cast member that happened with. But this isn't TMZ, so let's get back to the review. So let's start with the things I like. And let's start on the character I think we all came to the movie to see, which was Justin Timberlake, who is an actor that's done a lot of acting. He is not only a movie actor, The Social Network, and there's Rom-Com with Mila Kunis, but he also does a lot of good acting in his music videos. I think his acting in What Goes Around Comes Back Around, where he has just a quiet scene where there's no music in the background, it's just him and Scarlett Johansson, is amazing acting. Like, this guy is an entertainer, and I think he's built for movies. I think he deserves to be a lead actor, and we will see a lot more of him. In this movie, he is good. I wouldn't say he's groundbreaking. I think this character has been done a lot. The most recent probably being A Star Is Born, Bradley Cooper, where you're just playing this defeated kind of guy in his 40s who's trying to figure out who he is. There's a lot of movies as well where there's kind of the older guy that gets uplifted by the kid. And I think comparatively to a lot of other performances, I think Justin Timberlake does a good job. I think he does well in a movie that requires the lead actor to carry it through dialogue and emotion, which this movie requires because there is not a lot of action. I really like Alisha Wainwright. She has a very good chemistry with the screen. She's fun to watch. She really brings out a livelihood and happiness to a town and place that's pretty dismal. And then my favorite actor in the whole movie is Ryder Allen, who plays Sam. Ryder Allen is phenomenal. He is about 8 years old, and the different range of emotions this child actor has to go through, the topics that they cover about him being different, and still having this positivity that uplifts the other characters on the movie was really, really impressive to me. I thought without him, this movie isn't successful. And a really good thing about the movie as well is the relationship between Justin Timberlake and Ryder Allen. They have great on-screen chemistry, and they are the bulk of the movie. So the fact that you actually feel like these characters can lift each other up the way they do in this movie was really important to its success. The dislikes. It was very slow for the first 60 minutes. Really slow. Let's not bring it down too much because you have to watch the first 60 minutes. For me, that could have been 30. There's a lot of Eddie Palmer, Justin Timberlake moping around, kind of just being the broken old guys. I also thought there was some underwhelming storylines. So one of them being why he went to prison. And this community hates him. in some scenes. They despise him in the community. One instance, he's not allowed to have a job. A lady yells at him in a store. What he did when he tells the story of what he did is bad, but it's not like hate bad. Like it's almost understandable, especially for the fact that he was so young. And maybe it's the way he tells the story or something, but I was expecting a bit more of a bang on that side of it. So scenes I liked. My favorite scene in the whole movie is where Sam and Eddie go to buy a costume together for Halloween. This is really cool. This really kind of, I think, is the transition between their friendship becoming a real friendship where they understand each other, and Eddie realizing that he's a different person now and he absolutely adores this kid. I also like around the hour mark where we get to see the movie's pace turned up a notch. We get to see some action for the first time in a long time. And that scene's pretty cool. You feel Eddie have this protection over this kid, and it got me sitting up in my chair, which I thought was really, really important. And a bit of fun. There's a lot of Justin Timberlake sex scenes in this. Well, not too many, but they're pretty raunchy sex scenes. He's a very passionate lover in this movie. I don't know if it helps character build him. I don't think it made a difference. So overall, I recommend watching Palmer. I think embrace yourself for a pretty dialogue-heavy, slow first hour, but you do get rewarded in the second half of the movie. Don't expect a super original storyline. I think Sam being considered different in the community is a refreshing outlook and something that needs to be covered in film. But overall, as a movie, I think it was quite predictable, a good watch, and decent acting performances. It's enough to be a B. I'm giving Palmer a B. Thanks for watching. I'll have some new movie reviews coming out soon once new movies come out, and I'll probably have to subscribe to another streaming service the way it's going right now. Thanks, guys.